Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is February the 25th of 2022. The distractions abound. We might get into that a little later. You'll have to forgive me. I'm cleaning up my desk because of all the water that we've had. It's finally drying out. It didn't rain as bad last night as I thought it was, so we didn't get any more water in, which is good. Although there is still, we still have people coming out to fix things, so I'm still waiting on that. My notepads, all my little notes and stuff are falling off of my computer, so I'm having to put everything back up. We still have a lot of work to do in the house, but thankfully last night it did not rain as much as it could have. I thank God for that. Because we've had so much going on in this house that's just one less thing I need to worry about. Today we're going to read Psalm 115. This one's a little bit longer than the ones we've been doing. I didn't really read this one before I turned the computer on, so we're gonna wing this. Some of them I get to read before we do it. Some of them I don't. This one I didn't. But follow along if you want to. This is again one of those days that I don't know how animated I'm going to be. It was another long night of dreams where I'm working, and it's like I did the other night. I fell asleep, and for the 7 hours that I was asleep, I worked the whole night. I was working. And you wake up and you feel like you've already put in your time, and you wake up and you're exhausted and you just want to go back to sleep, or you just want to rest, and you realize that you have to get up and you have to get back to work. Well, last night was the same way. I got up last night I dreamt that I was working, or I was constantly moving, I was constantly doing stuff, and it was the whole night. And I got jolted awake at 15 minutes before my alarm was going to go off, and I was just like, I'm just going to lay here. I don't care. It gets like that, man. It gets like that. All right, without further ado, sorry, I should have. It's extremely dry down here. I'm going to say that right now. The only thing I have running is, well, I got the fan running because it feels hot and it feels dry. But I sprayed this mold remover everywhere and it dries out everything. But my dehumidifier is the only thing that's really running, and it's taken all the moisture out of the air. So it's doing its job. But as it does that, it plays with my nose. So we're going to hopefully get through this without sneezing or having to blow our nose, but you never know. All right. So anyways, Psalm 115. Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory, for thy mercy and for thy truth's sake. Sorry. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them. So is every one that trusteth in them. O Israel, trust thou in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. O house of Aaron, trust in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. Ye that fear the Lord, trust in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. The Lord hath been mindful. The Lord hath been mindful of us. He will bless us. He will bless the house of Israel. He will bless the house of Aaron. He will bless them that fear the Lord, both small and great. The Lord shall increase you more and more, you and your children. You are blessed of the Lord, which made heaven and earth. The heaven, even the heavens, are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. The dead praise not the Lord, neither any that go down in silence into silence. But we will bless the Lord from this time forth and forevermore. Praise the Lord. Amen. All right. So, give me some dead space, some dead air. I'll be right back and we'll go back through this. And no, I never dusted. No, I never dusted like I said I was going to. We that weekend that I said that I was going to come down and dust, we had other stuff going on. I need to go pull the filters off the furnace, which means I have to get into the crawl space. We got to clean those. It's been way too long. But we're still talking about getting a new furnace. So I just need to do it. I just need to do it. I just need to clean the filters. Okay. So let's go back through this. There were some things that I saw, some things we could definitely talk about. All right. So starting from the top. Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory, for thy mercy and for thy truth's sake. Which is something that I have started to come to the realization that more and more every time that I am given something good in my life, I have to praise the Father more. That he gives me what I have. He has given me the ability to work my way from the bottom to where I am now with my job, to where we earned good enough money that we could buy this house. And even though this house has problems, and even though that we have flooding in the basement and the furnace and blah, 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 God has given that to us. And we praise him and we thank him for that. And I ask him if he would give us the ability to be able to fix what we need to fix. And if he will give us that, I will praise him as much as I did. Praise him more. Because he's given us this ability. He did this. He started me out on this road 5 years ago. I gotta remember 5. I got a birthday coming up. I'm right on top of it. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's the end of February. But 5 years ago, after my 40th birthday, he chose to save me whenever I was broken down on the basement floor of our old house, on my knees praying that he would help me. And he chose to take me from that day and show me so many better things and fix everything that was wrong with me. And all I can do is thank him for it. give him the praise that he deserves. Shout it from the hilltops if I have to. Praise ye. Give all praise to you, Father. As I wipe my nose, I am sorry. Okay. Verse 2. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is now their God? Which is what a lot of them do. Where's your God now? Did your God do this? If your God is so good, why would he do this? Because you don't understand. You don't understand anything that's going on. But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. Sounds like Jeremiah 10. They go out into the forest and cut down a tree, the work of the men's hands. They bring them into the house, nail them so that they do not move, deck them with silver and gold. Now, the way that this one differentiates from that is that this talks about them carving these things into idols. This talks about them carving them into statues. Before we do that, though, I wanted to see. Now, there are 3 different references. Surely Deuteronomy's not that small, is it? Holy smoke. I passed by it twice, and I'm like, man. I'm flipping through here. But there's 3 different references. One of them is Jeremiah 10:3, which I just said, which is the one where it says you should not bring a tree into your house. Oh, but they're talking about idols. Are they? Are they? Deuteronomy 4:28. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor eat nor hear nor eat nor smell. Which is what's going to be talked about here in a little bit. But there's another one. Psalm 135:15. Psalm 135. We're skipping ahead. And the Father let me go right to it. Thank you. 35:15. The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths but speak not. This looks exactly like we just read. So, I don't know if I've gone over this. The Bible, the books of the Bible themselves are witnesses unto themselves. If you hear a thing, you have to have it proven at least twice. You need a second witness to be able to have something proven. Whenever the Bible says something more than once, usually 3 times, it's usually an indication that there's something going on there that you should probably listen to. This is one of those things. I know there's another place, I've seen it before too, where it says the idols of silver and gold. But that right there, if they're going to hit you with something 3 different times using almost the exact same words, you might need to listen. You just, you might need to understand what's going on there. Hold on a second. My nose is bound and determined to run today. Whew. Hopefully that one did it. But it's bound and determined to run today. But whenever you talk about these, this is talking about the idols that they bring in and they carve into shapes, and they carve them into the wooden idols of the monsters. Was it in Enoch or was it in this one? Where the one guy, or was it in Jasher? Where the one guy was mad at his father because he went into his father's back room and he saw an idol. Or he saw a bunch of idols or something. And he took an axe and he cut down all the other idols, chopped them to bits, and then he took the axe and he put it into the main idol's hands. And the father came back and he said, "What happened here? You know, what was this all about? What happened?" And the kid was like, "Well, he did it. He's the one that's got the axe." And his father said, "Well, these things can't move. They're just wood." And the son was like, "Yeah, they can't move. They can't be moved. They're just worthless pieces of wood." I don't remember if that's in the Bible or if that's in one of the other books, but that always, that always makes me think of every time they talk about they cannot be moved, they don't have eyes that see or hear. They're just wood. You're praying to nothing. There's nothing there. Stop praying to idols. Stop praying to false things. Stop praying to your own vanity. Because that's what it is. It's whenever you create something and you worship it, you're being vain because you made this thing. This was not something that God made. This is not God. This is something that you made to make yourself feel better. This is your idol that you've created. Stop worshiping it. Stop being vain. Stop vanity. Because all things are vanity. That's in here. That's either Jeremiah or Ezekiel. It's one of the two. All things are vanity. All things that men do are vanity. I never understood that until I really got down into just how much we do for ourselves that are not of God and are not how do I want to put this? Are the things that we make for ourselves that serve no one but ourselves. There is no service that these idols can give us. It's like art. It's like art. Art serves no purpose whatsoever except to be what it is. And I will probably say the majority of art within itself is probably vanity. Within itself. People will spend millions of dollars on a piece of art, put it on a wall, and then just worship it by just constantly looking at it. You could say the same thing about a lot of things. It probably gets deep. And it's probably a lot deeper than I want to go into right now. We're talking about I could very easily fall into that category of worshiping the things that own me because I still have this massive collection of stuff in my house. So yeah, I mean, when you get down to it, when you really get down to it, yes, it probably gets that deep. I don't know, but this right here, way out right up at the top, it's just like you made this thing to worship it. It's just a plank of wood. Jeremiah talks about going out into the forest and pulling a tree. He doesn't even talk about shaping it. He talks about it being the work of men's hands. Now this right here, of course, yes, this says the work of men's hands. The other two, yes, they say the work of men's hands. Does this have to do with Jeremiah? Well, maybe. Probably. More than likely, yeah. At the same time, it said specifically, don't go out and pull a tree from the forest and bring it into your house. Whether you shape it or not, because whether you shape it or not, it is still an idol that you bring into the house and you deck it with silver and gold. It's still an idol. It's still a bad festival. It's still a pagan ritual. You're still getting on your knees in front of this thing on a very specific day, singing your songs that God does not want to hear for reasons of vanity. It's still the same thing. You're not shaping it into an idol. You're not shaping it into some weird multi-armed elephant. You're not shaping it into some giant fat guy. You're not shaping it into I almost went there. Some people have a problem. There's an argument between Christians right now. It's been there for a while. Whether you should be worshiping Christ hanging on a cross. Some people say that having that as an idol and worshiping it, it's idol worship. Having it there because you're symbolically leaving him on the cross. He's not on the cross. He's off the cross. There's no reason to have a crucifix with a dead Christ hanging on it. And I almost said that. I almost grouped that in there. I can understand that ideal. I'm not going to say that I'm going to be worshiping crosses. I'm not going to be saying that I'm going to be worshiping crucifixes or Buddha or Shiva or Vishnu or whoever the hell else. What's his name? Grishnu? I don't know. But some people say that. Some people say that that's just part of that. You know, the whole thing. It is just a symbol that you may wind up worshiping if you're not careful. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you, it's still up to you how you want to do it. I know some people get a little too out of control with it. Some people will build entire altars with this cross, and they bend over and they will pray to the cross more than they will pray to God. I've seen that. I've seen people do that. They will pray to this cross more than they will pray to God, and I personally don't think that's what we need to do. I think we're supposed to pray to God. I don't think we're supposed to pray to a cross. That's just me, though. I'm not gonna get on anybody. We saw we saw a kneeling pad. One of those chairs that I've seen before. I've seen them in churches. I've seen them in people's houses, where you sit on one side and you kneel down on another side, and it's. Angie said it was an ergonomic chair. I said it's not an ergonomic chair. I mean, yes, they make ergonomic chairs that look similar to that, but that's for kneeling. That's for praying. We were in Ohio. I was like, there's kind of a big Catholic following out here. They have things like this. I've seen things like this. She wanted to have an argument with me, but I was like, no, whether you want to think that's what they use it for or not, I've seen them. That's what they use them for. And 9 times out of 10, they got them set up right in front of a cross with an altar with a Bible that doesn't have revelations in it, but it is what it is. Or is missing one of the 10 Commandments. Or I didn't want to get into that. That's a whole different thing. We had that discussion whenever we went out to watch that one guy. Talk about the Book of Revelation. We had that whole discussion because she was asking me who we could take, and I was like, there's certain people I know that are Catholic that I just don't want to take to that because I don't even know if they even understand what the Book of Revelations is. Why? It's because I think they cut out the Book of Revelations because there's a lot of stuff in it that points out how wrong they are. They cut out one of the 10 Commandments. They cut out idol worship because they worship idols, Shit, man, they bring dead people out and parade them around all the time. I'm not going to go Catholic bashing. I'm not doing that. People can do whatever they want to do. There's there's a narrow way and there's a broad way. And when we went to that conference, when we went to hear that guy speak, I saw it. I saw the narrow path. I saw, oh, excuse me. I saw the narrow path. And it was not in that room. I'm just saying, it was not in that room. Maybe it was. I don't know. But that was, it just, I saw it sitting there. I was like, this is not the narrow path. I don't know what this is, but this is not it. Anyhow, we can have discussions on this one for hours and hours and hours, and I don't have hours and hours and hours. Um, it's a bad holiday. It's a bad tradition. I don't care if the tree is fake or not. You're still setting up an idol. You're still decking it with silver and gold. You're still singing. You're still singing songs to the tree. You're still lying to your children about old Nick. You're still lying to yourself, and it's all vanity. End of discussion. Stop. Stop worshiping Christmas. Verse 4, their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. That's what you guys get for putting mouths and eyes on the trees. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throats. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. Nothing. They're wooden. Clouds without water. I think I think that was John that said that. And I still, to this day, when you go out and you see the entire sky blanketed with that really nasty, bubbly cloud cover where it's not going to rain, and it's like the entire sky is blotted out by a blanket of garbage. I think of that line. They are clouds without water. They are nothing. There's no substance to them whatsoever. They got the lights on, but nobody's home. They got hands that they can't handle anything, feet they can't walk, can't speak through the throat, ears and eyes and nose, but they can't do anything with them. They're worthless. They're nothing. It's art. It's vanity. That's what this says. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. So even if you didn't make it and you're trusting it, you're still just like them. Makes you think about what American Idol has done to people. The brain dead society that has come from consuming every last second of television, of media, of everything they can get their hands on. Brain dead society. Absolutely. I used to be a part of that. I used to be right up there in that system, and something along the line snapped me out of it. I stopped watching the news at night. I stopped watching, sitcoms because I got tired of people telling me when I should laugh. I stopped watching stupid shows. I was watching reality TV when reality TV first started, but then it's like within the first year or two, I started seeing that it was scripted. And I just said, this isn't, this is ridiculous. And I started watching more things that went off the beaten path, things that, didn't talk down to me, didn't didn't try to didn't try to force me into being just some lame TV fool. We watch television. I'm going to admit that we watch TV. We don't watch the news. We don't watch anything else. We have Hulu, and we have like Amazon Prime. We have Disney too. Uh, Disney has just gotten worse and worse. But we watch Hulu and we watch old shows. We watch old shows from the 90s. We've been watching a lot of stuff from the 80s. We did Cheers, the entirety of Cheers. I've seen every episode of Cheers. Thank you very much. Um, they just put Night Court up on Amazon Prime, and Night Court sadly has a laugh track to it, which sometimes they're not very funny. We're waiting for it to really kick in. The first season sucked. The second season got better. But we've watched so many shows where we started out like the first couple episodes. Even some like 1 hour drama things, I don't like anything made past 2005, 2010. I can't handle it. The only good things that I've seen recently have been like Yellowstone. Man, that show just does not bow down. Or 1883. That show is not bowed down yet. It's closing in on bowing down to woke politics. Or Mayor of Kingstown, which they're all three made by the same guy. Which I think is incredible. But we can't watch new stuff. We watch old stuff, and some of those, man, we 2 or 3 episodes in, and I'm like, I can't watch this. This is garbage. This is absolute garbage. People suggested stuff to us, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We got through 5 episodes of that, and we both said, man, these people are terrible. Why are we watching this shit? And that's that vanity. That's that people that are just so dumbed down that they'll watch whatever they can, and then they like consume it, and then they start becoming the people that they start seeing. They start becoming the whack jobs on television. I've said this somewhere before in a video somewhere before, and I've said this to several people that I know, and they still don't get it. They don't understand what I mean. Some people flat out denied it. I say, you are a product of what your television tells you are. Your entire life you have been told how to think, how to act, how to live. Everything you've gotten from the TV, and you don't even know it. Well, that's not true. I was taught from my mother and father, and we did. No, if you had a television in your house, you act like the television. Proof of that is that the family is falling apart. If your family is falling apart, it is because the television has turned you into a rebel. To be rebellious of your mother, to be rebellious of your father, to follow the whims of society and not the whims of your family. Oh, but they were like that too. They were like that in the 1800s, and there were rebellious children that went out. How do you know that? How do you truly know that? Do you know how you think you know that? Because the television told you. Yes, I will absolutely admit that there were families in the 1800s, probably, where the fathers were so strict that the kids rebelled, and they went off and they created different things, and they did this, and I will admit that probably happened, but not this mass exodus that has occurred within the past 100 years that the television has been an invention, or that moving pictures have been an invention. Your entire life is based upon the television. The way you act, the way you talk, the way you think is based off of the television. proof of that is how over the top people react to every little thing that happens in the world. People were not like that back in the 1900s. They were not over the top and yelling and screaming and laughing at the top of their lungs. And there was no tolerance for it. Because we had respect. We had standards. There are no standards now. There are no standards. Because television has taught you to not have standards. Movies have taught you not to have standards. It filtered over into books. Books have told you how to not have standards. You can get smarter by reading a book because you're actually reading a book. But with a television, you're just quote-unquote vegging out. Your mind is becoming a vegetable, and you're just consuming what they're giving you. There are actual patents out there that say that television screens, computer screens, any kind of a screen can be used as a brainwashing tool. I don't know what the patent number is. I don't have it down in front of me. But it shows you these alpha waves, beta waves, whatever the hell they are that come out of any screen whatsoever, that can come out of any screen whatsoever. Shows you that they can be used to hypnotize and manipulate people, to manipulate their feelings, to manipulate their understanding, to manipulate their thoughts. This stuff's been around for years. Been around for absolute years. And then you wonder why they flipped over to digital. Why people are worried about 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. I can't play a video game unless I have 60 frames per second. It's like, yes, you can. Your mind only sees at 18 frames per second, or your eyes will see it at 18 frames per second. I think that's what it is, 18 frames per second. 30 looks good. 60 to me looks too much. It's like the world is... The world doesn't even look that good and crisp, and it 60 frames per second just looks freaky to me. Now they're talking about 120 frames per second or so, 80 frames. I don't know what the hell it is now. It's like, how do you, if you're flipping that many frames per second inside of your television, all it's going to take is that 1/60th frame that they can put whatever subliminal in there that they want to, and you're not going to catch it. Because 1 second is not that long. And your brain can register 18, and they're feeding you 60? Do you not think that they're not going to use that against you somehow? And then everything flipped over to digital? Because they could process the frames faster, because CRTs can only handle so many frames per second. I don't remember exactly how many they said. Think about it. Just really think about it. Think about think about that big ass screen TV you have in there, the smart device that not only is it monitoring everything you say and do, because it already has a speaker inside of or has a microphone inside of the remote that is hooked up to the internet, that tells you what to think, what to watch, where to go, knows what you're watching and thinking and doing and all this stuff. Not only is it doing that, but it's sending waves back out at you. It's sending it back out to you in the form of 60 frames per second in order to manipulate your mind. Oh, that's not true. That's just conspiracy garbage. There's a patent. There's a friggin' patent out on it. And it's... And people just want the biggest thing, the next biggest thing, the next nicest thing. Oh, look at this. Look at this big screen TV. It's already got everything programmed into it. It's already got this. It's already got that. Yeah, we won't have to worry about buying a new TV for a long time, man. You know how hard it is to find a dumb TV? I am so thankful I got one of the last dumb TVs that didn't have any programming in it whatsoever. And I went searching too. I really did. I did my homework. Whenever I had the money to be able to buy my TV for downstairs, and all I ever do is play video games on it. And I'm sure video games are exactly the same. Video games, they can put stuff into it. I absolutely understand. I get that. But I went looking for a dumb TV. Every TV we have in this house is not a smart TV at all. They're dumb. And I am so thankful that we found that. I was saying a couple months ago that if we ever had to find one again, it would probably be that much harder to find another dumb TV because they're all smart now. Every single one of them. I got one of the last ones, I think. I'm sure there's some left that don't have all the crap inside of them, but, there's probably some that just have like natural Wi-Fi in them, which is crazy within itself because everything's supposed to be hooked up. They that make them are like unto them, so is everyone that trusteth in them. The Bible, we've said this before, the Bible is pointing it out. You become that thing that you are worshiping. You become that thing that you make. You're just another one of them. You're just another clone. You're just another brainless, wandering fool. Just another brainwashed nutcase. I can go into that stuff forever. But again, I don't have time because my time is running short. Verse 9, O Israel, trust thou in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. O house of Aaron, trust in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. Ye that fear the Lord, trust in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. That's quotable. Today that shall be quotable. The Lord hath been mindful of us. He will bless us. He will bless the house of Israel. He will bless the house of Aaron. He will bless them that fear the Lord, both small and great. The Lord shall increase you more and more, you and your children. You are blessed of the Lord, which made heaven and earth. The heaven, even the heavens, are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. He gave the earth to us, but we would rather let Satan rule over it. And he lets it happen. Think about that for a second. We chose to believe the lie at the very beginning because he made this place to give to the children of men for his pleasure. God made this place to give to the children of men for his pleasure. So that we could have a place, so that he could create something new, so that he could have somebody. I've said it before. It's almost like he was just lonely, and he wanted some people. He wanted to have his children, and he made man, and he said, "I'm going to give you this whole place. This whole place is yours. Every single bit of it's yours." But we chose, instead of listening to him, instead of ruling this world by ourselves, we chose to let somebody rule over us. We chose to let Satan rule this world when it's ours. That sums up everything. Absolutely everything. We chose, rather than to rule it ourselves, to live here ourselves, to worship God, and to love this place, take care of it, tend to it. We chose rather to let him rule over us, to let Satan rule over us, and to let him run this place. That's what happened. And we are suffering for it because of it. And God said, because you chose this, because this is the way you decided to go, you have to know that when it comes time for me to come back around and see what you've done with it, there's gonna have to be a judgment. I'm going out to a show. I'm going out to the movies. I'm doing, I got to go make a business trip. You're going to be here at the house by yourself. You got to take care of the house. You are in charge of the house. Don't let anybody in. Don't do anything stupid. Make sure everything is clean. Make sure everything works. If it's the way it was when I come back, then you're going to be rewarded. But if you screw this up, if I come back and if this place is worse, I'm going to have to punish you. I'm going to have to judge you. That's the Father speaking to the children. That's exactly what it is. And boy, howdy have we screwed up. We let an intruder in the house that decided to run a party over everything and destroy everything. He went out and he destroyed your dad's priceless antique stamp collection. Your dad's pissed. Just saying, you know what I mean. That's exactly what happened. Sometimes my analogies get pretty good. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're silly and they don't work, but sometimes they're pretty nice. And I have to step back and be like, wow, that's pretty neat. God gave me that to say. That's awesome. Even the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. The dead praise not the Lord, neither any that go down into silence. But we will bless the Lord from this time forth and forevermore. Praise the Lord. The dead praise not the Lord, neither any that go down into silence. That line makes me think of what people consider hell. Sheol, as it were. Enoch talks about it being a place out wherever it was that he went to. It was like caves, like holding cells where the dead went to be held. The fallen angels were held in the same place, but it's the spirits of people that were held there, waiting for their judgment. And there's other places that say that it's just that the body sleeps, that you just go down into silence and sleep, waiting to be lifted up so that you can be judged. And there's been others that have talked about, giant cave systems where people go down, especially when they're talking about hell. I never hear it. I never hear it whenever it's a biblical thing, where they talk about hell being, fire and brimstone, and you're going down and you're burning for 1,000 years. You never hear that. You always hear about the dead that cannot worship God going into a dark place, a place of silence, a place of nothingness, where everything is just kind of, lonely, desolate. There's nothing there. And there have been 2 different testimonies from people that have died that came back to life. Where somebody's died and seen something on the other side. And both of them, and I've heard them within the past 5 years, both of them have said they died and they saw hell. And it was a cold, lonely, dark place where it was nothing, where it was emptiness. And it wasn't like it was pain or misery or it was just loneliness. It was empty. It was the thought of being empty, just the nothingness. The emptiness, the shallowness of being just alone. And the biggest the biggest thing that they felt more than anything else while they were there was fear. Fear is the emotion of Satan. He gives you fear. That God gives you love, devil gives you fear. Evil comes from fear. And it makes me think every time I hear something, or read something that talks about going down into loneliness, going down into silence, going on down into this blackness, this pit. That's what it makes me think about. It makes me think about these two people, and I'm sure there's more because I know I've seen stories on probably Unsolved Mysteries or something back in the 80s of people that talked about that, where they just go down into this loneliness, this nothingness, and then they see a light, and it's God, and he picks them up, and takes them out of this darkness, this loneliness, and shows them something better. And my humidifier just turned off, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit, and that's what that makes me think, It's like maybe there's something to it. Maybe that's what hell is. It's just the emptiness. Nothingness. There's no love. There's no love of God. There's no love of anything. It's you're just kind of trapped there. I don't know. There will still be the eternal fire at the end of time. We understand that. God promises that. That fire will burn forever and ever and ever. And the people that choose not to believe will be thrust into it because they chose that punishment. You would rather choose to live in your unrighteousness than to even entertain the idea of following God, so you're going to get what you get. He gave you the warning. You chose not to listen to it. You had the party at the house anyways. You screwed up Dad's stamp collection. It is what it is. So anyways, I don't have anywhere else to go from there. I could talk about the distractions. What is going on here? I got two mailboxes open up. What's this all about? Logging in, by the way, because it's work time. Get out of here. My computer's being super slow, so that'll give me an indication of how good my day is going to go. Should probably restart it. We probably had some update or something last night. Site can't be reached. What? Tell me that it's going slow because the whole system's down. The problem with working from home like this is that everything's on one system, and if one part of the system is down, everything goes down. Why is this not working? My question now is the internet working? I will have to see. No, my internet's working just fine. I'm connecting just fine. This is our VPN, I think. Oh boy, it's going to be one of those days, kids. Yeah, well, no, I don't think it's our VPN either. I think it's our actual system. Our actual system is down. our we we have the worst system. I swear, $1 billion company. So we just got the most terrible system ever. Unbelievable. All right. Well, I will see you guys later. I gotta go. It's like I said, I could talk about this stuff all day, man. We could get into it, but I don't want to get into it. Why? What's going on? What is the V? What? Man, I don't have time to screw with this. All right, I'm gonna restart the computer. Why not? Right? Update and restart. What? Updates. That's what it is. I gotta update and restart. I'm probably gonna be late clocking in, if you can believe that nonsense. Um, yeah, distractions. One distraction after another. Um, and just like that, we all stopped talking about, the injections and COVID and all of the other garbage. We just stopped talking about everything. Now we're talking about, war. For crying out loud. And the worst part about it is, while I have time while this is restarting, is that all of those truthers, all of those truth channels, all of those truth seekers, whatever the hell you want to call them, all of those people that want to preach to you how to not be distracted. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted by the news. Don't be distracted by what's going on. Make sure you stay the course. Make sure you preach the good word. And all those truthers jumped right on the distraction bandwagon as soon as it popped up, because that's all they're talking about. Just the whole Twitter feed this morning, every single person, and it's like, what happened to not being distracted? Oh, these updates are going to take forever, aren't they? Oh, man. I swear every time I log in this computer, I just need to restart it. Or every time I come down here, I need to restart the computer before I do anything. Well, at least it's moving. 4%, 5%, we're good. But, yeah, pick a lane, man. Either you're gonna tell us not to be distracted by anything that happens in this world, and that we're supposed to learn the truth about everything, or you're going to jump on every single current event possible and follow that. It's either one way or the other. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's just absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But that's, I've called that out for a while now. It's the hypocrisy of the truth community. They always want to tell you one thing, but just like everything else in this world, they'll tell you one thing, but then they'll follow another. You can't trust anybody. Don't trust me. Don't trust me. I don't know either, man. Just don't. Be careful. Be aware. Use discernment. Ask God to give you discernment. It's craziness, man. All right, I'm definitely gonna go, because this is. Hopefully this won't make me late, but you never know at this point. I shall see you guys later. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Ask the Father for discernment and understanding of this world and what is happening. All right, I shall talk to you guys later.